this week, a pretty big game to bring up a milestone.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. Those personal achievements are good, I guess, but the focus is squarely on the team success this week and going out there and playing well as a team. And if we do that, I'll be really happy.
Obviously, you've locked in that final spot, which is the goal at the start of the season, but it'd be nice to finish in that top two, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I think if you look at the history of the competition, the higher up you can finish, the better your prospects are. So we're certainly focused on doing that, and we know if we're going to finish top two, we have to win. So it's a pretty simple equation for us.
We're going to be pretty tough against a Crusaders side that did miss out on the finals?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always tough against them. We know plenty about them, so we'd expect them to play really well. So we know it's going to be a tough game. There's nothing different from the start of the year. So, like last week, we're going to have to play well to win.
Steve, it's your 100th game for the Brumbies, isn't it? Because you've played a lot of games for Queensland as well. Yeah. So how many this weekend?
Oh, geez, I'm not really sure exactly. I haven't been counting, but Claire might be able to tell you that. 140 something or 50.
But you felt every game, have you? Yeah.
When you get to the back half, I guess you feel it a bit more. It takes you a bit longer to get ready, but I just say to myself these days that it's got to be ready by Saturday, and usually it's okay. So yeah, you have to work more on recovery and things like that, and that has to be higher up on your priorities, I guess. And when you're young, you sort of bounce out of bed and you're ready to go again the next morning. But I guess as you get a bit older, you have to work on things like that. So, but I think everyone would feel that who's played this number of games. But like I said, I'm not too focused on myself this week. It's more about the team doing well.
Have you thought about how many games you can play in your Super Rugby career? I mean, you've looked at 200 or?
No, I haven't looked at that, mate. I think it's an interesting point because you look at, I guess, the AFL and probably the Premier League in the UK even more so. The guys are racking up 600-700 games there. Guys like Steven Gerrard, who's a hero of mine. So, nothing's out of reach, I guess.
He's about 60 by the time you
Yeah.
But it is just such an important game this weekend. You can't afford to get emotional about anything, can you really?
No, that's very true. And as I said, it's certainly not about me. It's about the team's success. And we've done a lot of hard work to get to this position, and we want to maximise where we finish up. And we know any team in that top six will think they can win the comp. And we're one of those teams now, so it's important for us to give it the full crack this week and finish as high as we can. So. Like you said, we could finish in the top two if things go our way and we win. So, that's got to be our goal.
Is there a lesson there from what happened with the Blues a few years ago when it was a pretty flat performance by the Brumbies?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the lesson there is a team that's sort of got nothing to lose can come out and play really well, So, we know the Crusaders are capable of anything on their day. They've been a good team for a long time. So, we know we need to play at our best this week to win the game, so we'll go about doing that.
Looks as though Matt Tamua and Henry Spate are going to play?
Yeah, I hope so. They're both looking pretty good to play, so there'll be a huge boost to have Pup back in the team, and obviously Henry's been playing really well the last couple of weeks, so I think he did his injury very early in the game the other night and played half the game, so hopefully it's not too bad.
Did both those guys train this morning today?
I don't know. We just did units this morning, so I didn't see them in any of the malls we did, but they might have been out with the backs.
What about the Crusaders? Steve, you touched on it, obviously. They can't make the finals. It's a really unusual position for them, but
yep.
I suppose they really want to send off Dan Carter and Richie McCaw off with a win.
Yeah, I'm sure, mate. Yeah, I guess you'd have to talk to them about that stuff, but we've got our own motivations to play well, and we know they're a quality team, and we're not focusing on any one individual. They're a good team as a unit, and we know we're going to have to play well.
The rolling maul's been so effective for you guys this season. Paul, you scored 3 tries against the Force. Do you keep using that, I suppose, from now into the finals?
I think it depends what happens in game. Like the other night, it was working for us, so we sort of kept going to it. And I guess if that happens again in another game, you do the same. But we know other teams will defend it differently. It might not work for us, and we might have to go to something else. So we're always talking about having variation in our game and having a balance between driving and being able to play to our backs. And this week will be no different.
How big of an advantage is it being at home this week and not having to add those extra travel days and things like you have in recent weeks in South Africa and Perth?
Yeah, it definitely helps. Every team likes to play at home, no doubt, and particularly an afternoon game, I think it'll be good for the fans. Haven't had one of those for a while, and I think particularly for the kids to be able to get out there. I know my kids will be out there at the game. It's their first game of the year, so usually they're in bed at 7:30 when we normally play, so it's great to be able to play in the afternoon and have as many kids as we can out there.
Would you guys like more afternoon games?
Yeah, I think Michael's put in for 8, hasn't he? So that'd be nice.
Is it an advantage for you guys that you're playing before the Waratahs play on Saturday? So I suppose if say if you get a bonus point, they know that they're under a bit of pressure.
I think you can get bogged down in worrying about that stuff. We know the job at hand for us doesn't matter if we're playing before or after or whenever. So we just got to get out there and play well.
Is there maybe no better prep for the playoffs than a wound Crusaders side?
Yeah, I think it will be a good test. They'll be certainly disappointed to not be figuring the finals, and they're going to want to finish on a high note. They've got a lot of their own motivations to play well, so it will be a good test for us, I think. And we know we're going to have to build on last week to figure down the track, and that starts this Saturday. We need to play at our best.
And they've been a bit up and down, unusually so for Crusaders side. That makes them more dangerous again.
Yeah, that's right, and I think they've admitted that themselves. They've been disappointed with how it's gone, and probably started for them early in the season, I guess, against the Rebels at home. But they've played some really good footy, I think, in the back half of the year. I think some of their key players are starting to come into some good form. The usual suspects there. So that we'd expect that to happen again this weekend.
You've won your last couple of games now, Steve. Do you think there's a bit of momentum building now going into the finals?
Yeah, I think it's better to win than to lose the last two. So certainly you want to be winning this time of the year, and we know, from here on in, if we don't win, we're out. So this week is the start of that. It's really like a final, I guess, a week early, isn't it? The importance of it and the importance of finishing as high as you can, we need to treat it like a final.
So there's no thought of resting players, even though you're assured of the spot in the top 6?
No, none at all.
No. Like you said, the top 2 is really vital to get that week off.
Yeah, it is. I think, I'm not saying anything that people wouldn't have heard before, but the higher you finish, the better your chances are to win the comp. Yeah. And that's a fact. History has shown that throughout the history of the competition.
Right.
Thanks.
No worries.